So many goodies here. Everything's lighted up. I don't know where to start first. What do I want to do? Okay, well, that answers my question. I'm supposed to be doing a video, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anywho, you know who it is. Zeus Cruz of Olympia Multimedia, giving you another segment of Get Things Done. If you gander over to the side over here, in this particular segment, as you see on the screen, and if you notice down here, we're going to be talking about music, specifically the Traktor Control S2, the hardware associated with, boom, Traktor Pro 3. Don't quote me on this, but I think they do have a newer version of this, both the hardware and the software. I believe so. Again, don't quote me. But this is the version that I use, and it's great. We're just going to highlight some certain things involving utilizing the hardware, how it's synced to the software. And I know looking at it, it's a DJ controller, so you're thinking more lines of we're going to be thinking or talking in terms of like a DJ, how for different sets you will have an inventory of your different songs, different beats, and then you go about mixing and so forth to create like your track lists and your playlists and whatnot. But the great thing about utilizing this, you actually can use this to create different remixes to something that's already been established, right? Or you can use it as a way to blend maybe a couple different sounds together to create like a whole new unique sound that you can utilize later on, maybe possibly as a loop. Or you could just use it to create a template. Not something very organized in its premise, but just something to kind of like pivot off of to start generating ideas. And then maybe just possibly you could utilize it later on when you're trying to construct your beat, right? Or your soundscape. So if you notice on the screen, the layout of it, the interface is very easy to use. It's even more easier because being this is a MIDI controller. Everything that you see on here can be controlled right onto the screen, right onto the software. You can utilize the mouse if it's a lot more easier to go ahead and access different things, but you can utilize this controller. If you notice, there's two sides, so you can put two inputs of sound, each one with his own jog wheel, each side with his own encoders, as you can see here, where you could do like a mix from your highs to your lows to your mids. You can also, if you see in the center, incorporate different effects that can be played concurrently as you're going about mixing, doing your mixing of the two sounds. You have your cues, your play option, pauses for each side. Each side also has its own pads, number coded. We're going to get to that. We're going to get to that in a second on the purpose for that. You have your fader, where you can go back and forth between the two sounds. You can control the gain on here. Each side can also control the tempo on how fast you want the particular sound to go. You can input and use a headset, some headphones, or you can play it through your studio monitors, whatever you prefer. So let's get right to it. First thing you want to do is you want to go to File, and you want to go to your audio setup to ensure that whatever is your output as far as how you're going to hear the playback, that you can actually hear it. So here we're going to just go ahead and set that up. You want to make sure that the audio device in which you want to hear the sounds is the same as whatever it is for your sound card. So just make sure both of these are the same. And then you could change your sample rate, your buffer size. Usually I don't tend to change any of them specs. The latency is just fine. And then for your output, if you are going to be utilizing headphones as well, you would set it up here as well, just to ensure that you're able to hear the sound. You go ahead and close. If you notice, all the way over here on the left will be all your files associated with your system. So we already opened up a folder here, and if you notice, we got a whole bunch of different sounds that's incorporated with it. So what I'm going to do is, to upload the one sound, I'm going to go ahead and click and drag. And if you notice, you see the bandwidth immediately appears to letting you know that you are synced onto this side to utilizing the different features on this side. Sound is going to be playing from here. If you notice, you could play it in different measurements, and you can preset it beforehand before you go about playing. Then we're going to go ahead and pick our second one. And as you can see, bam, both sides have been synchronized with some form of sound, some form of loop. And then take it a step further with the effects that I showed you earlier. You could go ahead and preset them up here. As you can see, it gives you a whole plethora of different effects that you can use, anywhere from phasers to different types of lo-fi, slicers, delays, flangers, so forth and so on, a gate. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and just put for a B slicer. And this is set for number 1. We go over to number 2, it's set for a delay. You go to number 3, it has no effects. So why don't we just put another one in there? How about we just go ahead and put a phaser in there? And then offset that with some lo-fi. And then offset that with, let's go with a bouncer effect. And then from here, I think I just want to add some reverb. And then each one, you can set it up to make it as dry or as wet you want the sound to be. This all comes down to saturation and how much of this effect you want layered into your production as you're going about mixing. If you notice here, we can set and create these mixes. Obviously, you could do this as you go along and just set up. Just for the sake of demonstration, I'm just showing you how easy your workflow is by using this controller. We go ahead and set our filter. And then we can amplify what that filter is. And then increase the gain on that. You go ahead and play. You see how you can easily control, but even when you're playing one, so you can cue within each segment, any segment within the loop itself or whatever sound input that you have on there, you can cue and get creative with your mix on exactly what you're trying to look for. Create these different types of transitions, different types of textures. It's all about exactly what are you trying to look for. Are you really trying to create a new sound, or is it strictly like you're just trying to create a new loop, or you just need some type of inspiration to spark yourself? This is just a great tool to use to play around with. And then even if you're playing both, you can create, with the fader, you can create these different types of like fade effects into your production as well. As you can see, you could just bounce off between both sides instantly without having to do the stop. There you go. Then we can go ahead and raise the tempo for both. And then if you notice what we were talking about with the pads, the neat thing about it is if you notice on the screen, you see how I press 1 and it takes you instantly back to the first, right to the beginning, right? Then if you go ahead and play, right? Now if you notice on the screen, we go back to number 1, you'll notice here, now we created a segment essentially in another segment. So that if you want to get more precise with your mix, you instantly could just go to the number that you want. And you can put a little bit more to the mix itself. Again, on the same side, we do the other side. Have it play. Go back to number 1. Now we're playing. Oops. Press the wrong one. And again, it just adds more flexibility to your mix. That's all you're looking for. You're not utilizing this essentially to just go ahead and create an entire production. You're not. It's not meant for that. It's definitely meant for you, besides the fact of using it in a DJ setting. It's just to use it to create these templates, these simple audio samples that you can bounce off of, create different types of textures. It's not to say that you couldn't utilize it with any this other type of equipment, MIDI keyboards, mix pads, sequencers, and so forth. You can within the DAW of your choice. But if you want to just be a little bit more precise on a particular sample that you have, a particular loop, or a particular sound that you created by utilizing the other pieces of equipment that you have, this can be a lot more helpful for you to kind of like tune in and fine tune exactly what kind of sounds or textures that you want to create in the overall landscape of your beat that you're trying to make, right? And then the fact that you can instantly add different effects and give a lot of more flexibility and leeway when it comes to your mix, it definitely could be useful. So that's about it. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Also, too, just as a quick note, just before I forget, you do also have it at the top where you can quantize so that you can be in chord with exactly what you're trying to mix. All right. So as you can see, the interface is very intuitive using this. It's very easy to use. It doesn't take really long for you to get an understanding. Some of these things that that are options on here, as far as like your shift, your sync, your hot cues, it may not be needed, but the options are there for you to utilize them. And that's about it. I definitely appreciate you guys tuning in. You know who it is. It's Zeus Cruz of Olympian Multimedia. And the only thing left to say is yeah, I forgot to show you that. You could do a little scratching too with the jog wheels. But again, Zeus Cruz, Olympian Multimedia, yada yada yada. Only thing left to say is get things done. Bam. Check you later.